Welcome to our late winter video. My name is Steve Craddy. We just returned from the most exciting buying trip we've had in years. We traveled to California, one of my favorite spots on earth, and bought beautiful conifers. And then we traveled to South Florida for warmth, but there wasn't any warmth, but they had cool trees. Let's start here in the glass house. It has a lot of the trees that I definitely want to show off today. The first group of trees I'd like to talk about are Kishu Shimpaku. They're from California. These were all done by one artist. He's no longer living, Masaru Ishii, considered probably the best grafting person in the land. And I've enjoyed purchasing trees from him over the years. And they're incredibly strong trees. You just can't beat them. And just to talk about them a little bit, the movement, the quick movement that you have going on, that happens at an incredibly young age. And one thing to know, all of these trees are grafted. They're base grafted. Most of them are grafted onto San Jose, which is a very, very strong juniper. Makes your life with the tree much easier. And I was able to buy a fairly large number of these, and they're just unbelievable. In addition to the large Kishu Shimpaku, I have a smaller group, and what's especially nice about these is they're more miniature in size. They're still very old, but they give you that very, very nice character that the Kishu gives us. And this has a very nice natural flow. It's not real twisty. But it's one that you could take this tree, and within 3 years, it'd probably become the best in your collection after you do more to it and put it in a bonsai pot. Example of Kishu Shimpaku. This is a fun tree. It originally it was actually the shari and the twisted style was created by Ishii, and that was done 10, 12 years ago. It's been in the small pot for quite a while, but it's still going to be an exciting project for someone. I wanted to talk about this one is because the giant ones that we brought in that are more like 60 years old at this point are going to be unbelievable bonsai within a few years. I mean, the bones are there. I think that both here in Japan, the desire for having dramatic, smaller trees in the size of shohin, it just keeps growing, and I'm glad because it's actually my favorite. These are Ilex Schillings Yaupon, and this is a new find for me. I love them. They're old, they're very ramified, and a lot of people try the various types of hollies. Hollies, it's like a family like maples. You have so many. This is the one that works. It's the Ilex Schillings. Many of the ones that you find in landscapes, they look the same, but they don't love a bonsai pot. So these do. So that's why this is my quest. I can't say enough about Schillings holly. It's so dramatic. It is so tough. If you keep it well hydrated, it will certainly outlive you. And when they have gnarliness going on, as this tree does, they make incredible bonsai. Going back to my earlier career in bonsai, I owned a tree that it was about the time Lord of the Rings movies was great. So I named this a giant holly Lord of the Ring. And it sort of caught on. And it became my most photographed tree for many, many years. So if you're a veteran bonsai person, you probably remember that because we were able to show it off for several years before it finally sold. But this is not it in miniature, but it has the same drama going on. Definitely want to mention my group of Satsuki Azaleas in shohin size. I'm tickled with these. They're old plants, and they have lots of attributes. I love twin trunks. Don't see very many of the azaleas in twin trunks. I especially like that, and I always love the exposed root style. This one's different in that the exposed roots are larger, which actually makes it look very stable to me. Love these. This is a great example of Satsuki Azalea. It's an import from this year. It's has a great beginning, meaning the nabari is there. You see what you have, and you have tons of branches, and they're laid out in lots of the right places. So just do the right things to this tree, and it'll be a favorite tree in your collection. At a previous bonsai show, I met a Japanese artist who really impressed me with his detail work on tiny micro-size Kishu Shimpaku. And it's just unbelievable how he develops these trees to look like giant trees in miniature. We're probably looking at 10 years here. This is a perfect example of how you can create magic in 10 years. And that is knowing how to design your tree to be a few inches tall, but still have the character of a big tree. And it's all governed by where you prune it, when you prune it, when you wire it, and where you wire it. So I love this group. Although I hate to leave this room, I have another room to show you. The tropicals are just breathtaking this year. We'll head there next. The first group of trees I'd like to talk to you about in this room is my group of European olives, Olea Europaea being the botanical name. These are just fantastic trees. So much, the right work has been done on these trees to keep them nice and compacted in, giving you an almost unbelievable look. And this one here is incredible. It shows something that I would like to mention. Olives typically create suckers at the base, and it's very important to the design of your tree to keep those off. So any of these trees in a year's time will form the sucker growth, and you literally cut it off back to the trunk. Love these. I love it when I see, especially a dwarf olive, Olea Europaea. I especially like seeing around the trunk base going up into the tree where you don't have scars. This tree has no scars, so it's just it's an amazing attribute. In fact, the group that we purchased, including this one, have very few scars. It does have some in the upper parts of the tree, but those are going to heal much faster. So it's just an outstanding piece. The next group of trees I'd like to talk about is Premna. It's an exciting species for tropical indoor bonsai. I mainly concentrate on the temperate outdoor type of trees, but it sure is a pleasure to have something that grows quickly. It's a tree that you can, within a few years, transform a large leaf. Sometimes they get twice the size of this, but you can transform that size through cutting back, by merely cutting back, to be uniformly all throughout the tree, not much larger than a Kingsville boxwood. I think that's pretty amazing. Great example of a Shohim Premna. This tree has the right ingredients for starting this species. It has an appropriate bend, appropriate branches. It's just going to turn into a fantastic tree. 2 years from now, it will be worthy of a collector's pot. Imagine you're in California and you're at a place called Big Sur. It's become one of my favorite places to visit. I feel comfortable there. Imagine walking into a forest of trees that tower 200 to 300 feet in the air. They're so tall you can't see their first branch. It's just too awesome. Everything's crazy about them. The bark, the longevity, living thousands of years. They're being able to live through a fire, which is actually kind of good for them, for their, their reproduction. And even this small one has a dramatic character about it. One of the things I really enjoyed this year in hiking through the Redwood forest amongst these giant trees were some that had been damaged for some reason or other. Sometimes fire damage, but other causes also. But this particular tree has super character, great base. It has that sustaining, it looks like a root. It's just unbelievable to have that deadwood piece showing as the front of the tree. I've tried it the other way, and to me this is the front. I just think it's an unbelievable tree. The last group of trees in this room I'd like to speak about are the Ficus Nerifolia. They're quite awesome, at least this group is, and we have a very good number of the Ficus Nerifolia for you to view and purchase. They're amazing. It almost makes me want to live in South Florida because the artists there do wonderful things with these trees, and you can't beat this look. This tree is a prime example of Ficus Nerifolia at its best. Has a beautiful nabari. This tree didn't happen quickly. This was in a collection for several years, and it's just textbook perfect scale. What I like about this tree also is that it's a perfect marriage between pot and tree. You can't beat this tree.